I would argue we will not be any more free or have any better a life when China is the global superpower. I would argue that we'll have more problems. Same with Russia, because I'm not Russian. I was born in America. I'm a Western man. And as much as I dislike certain things about the American empire, the way of life I know...
Does anyone else think that China will inevitably win this? Because clearly there's global strong arming going on. It's an arms race between China, Russia, and America. Mostly China and the US. China and Russia don't seem to be opposing each other as much as the other side. But when it comes down to World War III, it's pretty much more inevitable, right? Who wins? China or America? Based off population, what is it? Over 1 billion Chinese and 300 million Americans. And also, the way that they operate, you see them all lined up doing Tai Chi at the same time. Who's winning, USA or China? I mean, be honest. I mean, you can be patriotic about it, but let's be realistic. If you're analyzing it without any sort of bias, who's winning? And really, when it's U.S., I don't see right now. They say Israel's our greatest ally. I think Israel ditches us as soon as we have to go to war with China. And I thought that was Aiden's texting me.
Oh, my mental model that I operate within requires America to be the world's #1 superpower. So for that reason, I want America to do well. And if you want it to do well, you have to understand that in most scenarios in life, because we're not idealists, we're not fucking SNEAKO, we have a brain.
What the fuck? Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you say fuck me for? Hold up. I have to focus on one thing at a time. Okay.
Understand that someone has to lose for somebody else to win. There's very few scenarios in life which are perfectly equal 50-50 everybody.
Yeah, okay, Top G, you're so smart and you're saying us Americans, we. Look, we don't win from this. You're saying some win and some lose. Yeah, everybody knows that. But we're going to have to spend money. Our economy is going to suffer. People are not going to get over that debt crisis. The housing crisis is not going to go up. The fentanyl crisis is not going to be fixed. Do you know how much money regime change costs? Do you know how many soldiers are going to have to be deployed? It hasn't worked over and over again. It's not like this is a major win. Trump said that we got, 30 million barrels of oil, and it's equivalent to about $3 billion. We send, $5 billion to Israel, once a week? Do you know how much it costs to run the government? It costs $4 billion a day to run the government. Oh, what did we get? 17 hours worth of government? That was what they were flexing. $3 billion. 3B. It's nothing. We're $38 trillion in debt. That does absolutely nothing. So he said he was going to do no new wars. Trump campaigned on no new wars. Now there's a war. Whether or not you like to say it is or not. Ooh, it was short. It's still a war. You campaign on that not happening. Now we're in this country, we're responsible for these people, and the cope is, oh, look, they're celebrating. Okay, now we got to pay for it. Our tax dollars. You don't pay tax dollars in America. You don't owe money to the IRS. We do. This comes out of my paycheck. The point is, people from other places, you're in Romania saying, we, yes, war is good. This doesn't affect you. It affects us. Hold on a second.
He wins. There are winners and losers. And every time America does not win, somebody else does win. And America's been handing wins over to the enemies. And when I say enemies, even if they're not overtly at war, it is a war for influence. The enemies of the Western way of life for far too long. And this hard power exercise has restored Trump's ability to exert soft power globally, which is extremely important. So I want to explain to you, without an idealistic, I'm in New York, I make arty-farty stupid videos, someone who actually understands the world. I want to explain to you how the world...
Okay, so what, I make arty-farty stupid videos. What do you put on a military helmet and wave guns around and say war's good? That's what's... So I'm making videos that are trying to inspire people, videos that are trying to... I'm putting effort into these videos, something nobody else is doing, right? Not to self-glaze or whatever, but, I'm pretty damn good at this stuff. You wear a robe, and then wave around guns in a helmet and then talk about all the places you want to invade. That's high art. That's what we should be doing with our platform.
It works. And the world at the top works exactly the same as the world at the bottom. How do I know how the world works? Because I grew up around street gangs. And guess what?
Okay, he's a gangster. Look, this is why nobody makes good art anymore. Because not only one is there not a return on investment, because it's expensive to do this. I don't take gambling deals. I could take a gambling deal. I could sign up there. I see him brag all the time. Oh, I made $300 million this year so far. I'm a billionaire. So why are you taking gambling deals after all this? Because that didn't really help me escape the matrix. That didn't help me. Actually, that's why I became so stupid. Because I signed up. I signed up for Duel. I thought I was going to escape the matrix and resist the slave mine. And instead, I lost my mortgage on Duel.com using your gambling link. I thought that I was going to free myself from the matrix and then, oh, whoops. Now I have brain rot, and now my wife's leaving me because I can't afford the mortgage. Too bad. If that's what I should be doing with my platform instead of making artsy-fartsy videos, then I guess we disagree.
At the top, between the countries and the intelligence agencies, it's really not that different. So the world is a big place full of stuff, and everybody's trying to take the stuff. This is important. I want you guys to understand this. Everybody is out here trying to take stuff, whether it belongs to them or not. They're trying to take other people's shit. Now, America can print dollars. So America has a life hack. Because if America finds out that you have some stuff, some gold, they can print free money from the sky and give it to you. And you give them your valuable gold. That's America's life hack. That's why America's rich. This all happened post-World War II, of course. But this show is only an hour long, so I'll give you the very quick version of history. At the end of World War II, Europe, including the Allies, were broke. America had all of their gold because during the war, when they had to get tanks, ammunition, guns, boats, whatever, they were buying it off America in gold. So America now has all of the world's gold. And the war has ended and these countries are broke. So how do you have a currency without gold? So America said to them, hey guys, you don't need gold because the dollar is linked to gold. So we'll give you a bunch of dollars. And you can link your currency to the dollar. This is the very simple version. Everybody said yes, trusting America to keep its dollar linked to gold. But nobody talks about the fact that America continued going to war after World War II. America continued to exert its dominance.
No, I do talk about that. That's why war in Venezuela is, because all the wars after World War II were a major failure. That was the last time that America got permission from Congress to go into war. After that, it was all regime change. It was all a disaster. Vietnam, Iraq twice, Iran, Syria, Libya, every single regime change, identical to Venezuela right now, was all a major disaster. That's why I'm saying what's happening now is a mistake. Look at history. World War II, we had the narrative that we were the good guys. We went in there and saved the day. You have Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. Look at that. We protected all the Jews from the Holocaust. We're the good guys. We stopped the bad guys. We're the hero. We're in charge now. Global superpower. The good guys always win in history. Ever since then, we tried to follow that same thing and be America's world police, be the heroes that we were in World War II, and it was failure after failure after failure after failure for decades. And now we're just going to be, whoa, but this time it's going to be good. And Tate will tweet something like, okay, war benefits the elites and it makes poor people poorer. So what's the difference with Venezuela right now? Are we going to see the benefits from this oil? Or is it going to continue to go to the military-industrial complex and go to Israel? Are we going to see the benefits of this oil? Trump's bragging about the money he got. He got $3 billion, something that he could fart out every day. Is that going to benefit our economy? Is that going to fix the housing crisis, the debt crisis in Gen Z? No, we're not going to benefit. You're right, Tate. It's going to make poor people poorer and make rich people richer. This is the same playbook.
Globally, America had a proxy war with Russia in Korea, the Forgotten War, in the 50s. Then they had a proxy war with Russia in Vietnam. And we're going to talk about proxy wars later on. It was the French who, I believe, first said, hey, America's going to war all the time. That's very expensive. How do we know they have enough gold to pay for all these wars? Because they say the dollar's backed by gold, but they're going to war and that's very expensive. I don't want dollars anymore. I want my gold back. And they told the American government, here, take your dollars that the franc is linked to and give me my gold. And at the time, the dollar was linked to gold. I think it even said on the note, exchangeable for its weight in gold. So America gave the dollars back. And the French, for the first time in human motherfucking history, were correct about something. That America was printing more dollars than they had the gold for. And that we were scamming the system. So when England asked for its gold back, America thought, shit, there's more dollars than there is gold. Everyone's going to keep asking for their gold back. We don't have enough gold. So now we're going to de-link the dollar and gold.
That also, but I'm still thinking about that artsy-fartsy thing. It's like, that's why I said red pill is dead. Because everything is gay according to the red pill. You make a video, it's like, oh, you should be, it's gay. You make like real content, and that's stupid. So what am I supposed to do? Be shirtless and wave around a gun and encourage war? Like, this is why it's declining so much. It's this elitist attitude that you're always supposed to be making content about escaping the matrix. And the same people are saying that are taking gambling deals. So what are we doing here? How are we going to help people resist the slave mind and then profit off of it? You make something that's dope that you're not, I don't make, like the vlogs, I don't make a return on investment for them. I do them because I love them. Because I'm passionate about it. Artsy fartsy. You know?
We're going to de-link them. So now the dollar's backed by nothing but the fact that you must accept the dollar globally, or we're going to come and kick your ass. So the dollar is the global reserve currency because if you don't accept it, we'll fuck you up. The dollar is backed by violence. The dollar is backed by the American.
So if you're saying that that's okay, if you're saying that we should support these wars because we need to support the U.S. dollar, who's in control of the U.S. dollar? Who's in control of the Fed? You see how the Rothschild family was super happy about the Venezuelan invasion? Why is the Rothschild, if they be people in charge of central banking, why are they so happy about it? We're going to go and die for them? We're going to deploy troops for central banking? For the people that got rid of the gold standard? The people profiting off of debt? It's like so hypocritical because the whole slave mind mentality is that there used to be actual slavery, and slavery now is financial slavery. As soon as you go to school, you have to take out $100,000 in loans, and then you owe money to the school. Now you work for the school. Not only that, you take out a loan, you pay interest on it, which is a sin in Christianity and Islam. You're not supposed to, usury is banned, but certain people benefit from usury. So now, not only are you paying every month, but you're paying debt. You're paying interest. So you're in a cycle, you're in a slave mind, you're in debt slavery forever. They sit there and profit creating nothing while you owe money forever. And half of these majors are a waste of time anyway. Half of the stuff that you learn in schools, it's all indoctrination. It's all psychological warfare that we all acknowledge. The same people who say that the psychological warfare of feminism, transgenderism, right, gay pride, all that, that's what's taught in schools. And that same system is how we become slaves. And then you say we need to go fight wars to protect this. I say no.
American military machine. Any country that had these fantastical, whimsical ideas about not using the dollar any longer. Libya, Iraq, etc. Something happened.
Yeah, that's what happened to Libya. Gaddafi wanted to create a bank separate from the central banking system. And ironically enough, Tate, so did Venezuela. Venezuela rejected the central banking system. Gaddafi was assassinated after he wanted to create a bank that was separate from that Rothschild system. And what happened? He was assassinated. Are you going to support that too? Was it correct for Gaddafi, who finally wanted to liberate Africa and create their own financial system? And then the same people that say, oh, like Africans are stupid, Somalis are low IQ, African third world or third. Okay, well, there was somebody in charge that wanted to go and bring Africans out of that slavery, and he was killed. And then we blame them and point at them and laugh at them and say that they're all poor and stupid. Well, okay, well, the people that are trying to fix it all die. They all get killed. So whose side are you on?
And the leader changed. And all of a sudden, they used the dollar again. So because everyone accepts the dollar, America can print unlimited free money to steal everyone else's shit. Right? Because let's imagine you're Botswana and you want to do business with Chile. And you say to the Chileans, hey, I need your jalapenos. And the Chileans say, okay, buy them then. And you say, here's some Botswanan. What the fuck do they use in Botswana? Botswanan fucking peanuts. The Chileans are going to be like, well, we don't really want your Botswanan peanuts because we don't know if they're going to be even worth anything in a week. You might have a coup. You might print too much. It's not backed by anything. All the global currencies follow the dollar and aren't backed by anything. I don't trust it. Give me dollars because I believe in the American military machine. So the whole dollar system is based on the fact that America can kick everyone's ass.
And for who? You're supporting it. Who is America kicking everyone's ass for? What was Iraq about, Tate? Was that about weapons of mass destruction, or was that to destroy all of the enemies surrounding Israel? All the wars in the Middle East, all the regime change in the Middle East, was that to assert American dominance? Or were these wars done so that Israel can have dominance in the Middle East and every surrounding nation can crumble? It wasn't to benefit America. These people did not pose a threat. They're like, oh, they say death to America. They said that because we support Israel. And a lot of these videos are fake anyway. People have this radical idea about Muslims. Oh, they hate America. Yeah, it's because they put out that propaganda so that Israel can get our support.
And this is important because as soon as the world doesn't believe that America can kick their ass, they stop using the dollar. And as soon as they stop using the dollar, the Western world as we know it goes broke. So I ask you a question. To all of you people in America crying that we kidnapped some fucking Mexican out of Venezuela.
Okay, listen to that sentence. All the people in America crying that we are in America and you're not. Our opinion on this is more valid than yours. You don't pay tax here. You don't owe money to the IRS, do you? Do you still have American citizenship? How are you saying we when and criticizing the people here that are against it when it affects us and it doesn't affect you? We are the ones that should be speaking about it. Going in Romania and instigating, encouraging this warfare, and then getting on a high ground and saying we're all crying about it, it's because it affects us and it doesn't affect you.
Venezuela. Do you want your currency to collapse? Do you think that your life will be better if your currency collapses and food riots begin on your streets? Or do we just want to kidnap a Mexican? The thing is, the Venezuelans understand this very well. If you live in Venezuela and you have a whole bunch of money, people will...
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the people like Tate and a lot of the people that were originally supportive of Trump would be always saying Trump should abolish the Fed. Trump should abolish the IRS. Trump should change the financial system. Trump should make America independent of the central bank system. He was even saying a lot of this stuff. And now that America's aligning with it and going to war for it, now you support it?
Kidnap your ass for the money. They invented kidnap. Venezuelans love kidnapping. And then we're going to let some little Mexican with 17 trillion of oil, we're not going to kidnap him? That's how the world works. Because the world is a big shit show in which everyone is trying to steal from everyone else. And the fact that America has the dollar allows us most of the time to...
Well, people are always... There's so much greed and people are trying to steal because of the financial system that we have right now. Because it's not based on anything. It's all fake. And it's benefiting small groups of people. It's benefiting the global elite. They make money by enslaving the rest of the world. Tate, this is what your entire platform was about escaping this system, resisting that slave mind. Why would we fight war? Why would we show allegiance to it? There's so much greed and everybody's stealing from one another because we're forced to. Because they profit forever while we go to war. The people that benefit from the military industrial complex, that make money, that get rich off of war, they rub their hands together while everyone else dies. This is exactly what the Matrix is. You're describing the Matrix right now, and now you're saying you support it.
Steal peacefully because we print free money, steal your shit.
No, we don't print free money. It's not it's not Americans doing it. It's the central bank system. Has nothing to do with America. He knows about the City of London. For him to make this connection is I just from the Escape the Matrix guy, do you guys see how ridiculous this is?
For nothing. So we don't need Black Hawks. Because if we can't buy it because you won't sell it to us, luckily, there's always some other dipshit in your country who will sell it to us. So for example, if you're an idealist who doesn't want my dollars for your gold, well, because we love to spread democracy and freedom, not because we want to give people a choice in the matter, because it gives us a choice in the matter. The reason we don't like dictatorships in the West is because then we can't choose who the leader of other countries are.
Okay, the $7 super chat. Can you cut being, what'd you say? Can you cut being the bigger person? Nice guy approach when you know Tate's a fraud grifter, bro. Let him already know. We fell 4-2 lows. Okay. No, I mean, I'm trying to keep it cordial for the most part. I didn't know, I haven't seen this yet. I didn't know he said this stuff. But at the same time, I'm probably, look, let's be real for a second. So much of the internet is clowning Tate after the Chase Damore loss. I said that he had respect, and I think he handled the loss with grace. I think the podcast after, I think he was making some excuses, but overall, I think he handled it well, and he showed a good example. I'm one of the only people saying that. Everybody else is jumping, they're posting memes and stuff, and I don't like seeing Andrew Tate's reputation go down like that. Aside from all this beef, I've always been cordial. Even when I criticize him for saying ridiculous things like supporting the Matrix that he was against for so long, I always say that he has a overall good message and I respect him. I'm one of the only people doing that. Well, everybody else is attacking. And look at the way he talks about what I do in my entire thing. It's almost like he doesn't want allies or so. But anyway, I mean,
if you're a dictator, you're in charge. But if it's a democracy, an election's coming up. So let's imagine there's two people. One who is an idealist who doesn't want to sell his gold to America, and he's the president. And an election's coming up. And one who does want to win the presidency. And we speak to him and say, hey, if you become president, will you sell us your gold? Yeah, 100%. There's always someone who will sell out his country for the money. So then what we do is we insult the current leader all over the media. We tell the world he's a bad person.
Looking forward to more artsy-fartsy stuff. We know SNEAKO is for truth.
Hey, thanks, bro.
You are on a different trajectory.
Artsy-fartsy.
Hard to watch,
yeah.
Logie, unfortunately.
Anyway. It's funny because, like, that's even against the Goy slap. Like, Tate spent his whole career saying how, you know, all the media is programming, like Friends is promoting feminism, Sex and the City is evil, right? And then I'm creating media that is resisting the slave mind, something that's really different from all this, and the antithesis to the Goy slap. It's like, that's fucking gay. That's gay. Okay, so Netflix was, man, all the defending I've done. Even when they did that Netflix show, what was it called again? He wanted an award. That kid wanted an award. I called that out. I called out that show where they were basing it off of this British kid. It was a 13-year-old kid who stabs a girl, and it was this incel who listens to Andrew Tate, and he ends up stabbing a girl. I called that stuff out. That's a perfect example of the slave mind media programming. I called it out. A lot of what Netflix produces is garbage. Like, look at Stranger Things. Then I create something that's the opposite of that. That's gay. That's fucking gay.
We give the
adolescents
opponent, the one who's agreed to sell his country out, unlimited funding, unlimited money, unlimited support, unlimited media coverage, and then perhaps a little bit of election rigging. And before you know it, the guy who agreed to do business with us is in charge and taking our dollars for his gold.
Is it muted?
That's why we love democracy.
That should be good.
So America chooses the leaders of countries
next supports regime
all
change
day,
in Venezuela.
every day. That's all they do. And the miracle of all of this to me is that SNEAKO's crying his eyes out that we decided to depose the leader of a South American nation.
What do you mean we? Do you think that you were on the board with Trump? Not only, you're not part of the administration, you're not on the team. Like, bro thinks he's on the team. You're not in the you're not with Hegseth and Rubio. You think that you were there? Second, you're not even in America. You're in Romania. Like, what are you saying we? You weren't on the Black Hawk. You weren't conducting, what are you talking about?
As if we haven't deposed the leader of every fucking South American nation since there's been fucking elections, bruh. That's all we ever fucking do. That's why you get to live in New York, in your big ass fucking building, dumbass. But because we used a helicopter this time, he wants to cry about it instead of election rigging and dollars, which is how we normally do things.
So he's saying the reason I get to live in my the reason I'm a dumbass who lives in my nice building in New York is because of all the regime change in the 60s and 70s in Brazil and in Chile and all the sanctions that look, this is not what is protecting the interest of America. Look on a grander scale. He knows this. This was to prevent proxies. Venezuela has connections to Iran, to Hezbollah. You saw what Netanyahu said. He's very happy that Venezuela was invaded because they have terrorists. The terrorists in Venezuela, they're going to come into America. Regulated? Why is it regulated? This is not for the interest of America. These people aren't posing a threat to our country. They're posing a threat to Israel. He knows that. He's being willfully ignorant or siding with, but this is not escaping the matrix.
Now, I would argue there's some dollars involved in the Maduro shit show. We called Maduro and said, look, bro, give us your oil. We'll give you dollars. He said, no, it is mine. Venezuela is a sovereign nation. And America said, you're a tier 3 shithole. You can't defend yourself. Might makes right. Give me your fucking oil. And he said no.
Might makes right. So then should you still complain about being arrested unfairly? If might makes right, then wasn't that fair that they raided your house and put you in jail? They were stronger than you. They had more guns than you. They threw you in a cell. Might makes right. It was completely just. It wasn't this unfair Matrix attack. The Matrix was right. The Matrix is stronger. They got you. What's the difference?
So what we did is we called all of his military generals and gave them money, and they turned off their...
Also, the inconsistent part of this is the fact that Andrew Tate was saying free Palestine.
Allahu Akbar!
If might makes right, Israel should continue stopping Palestine. They should take the West Bank. They should obliterate Gaza and put up Trump hotels. We're going to put up Trump hotels on Gaza Strip. Why aren't you for that? Trump's for that. You act like you're part of Trump's cabinet. What he wants to do is put golden hotels on the beaches of Gaza and eradicate and ethnic cleanse everybody that lives there. But you were saying free Palestine. What was that about? If might makes right, then Israel should expand and put greater Israel all over the Middle East like they want to. Because saying free Palestine is the liberal crybaby commie position that you're attacking me of. It's unfair. They have the stronger military. They have the missiles. They have the nukes. They have the capability to completely genocide the Palestinian people. But you said free Palestine. But you're also saying might makes right. So whose side are you on?
Air defense and sold them out. And Jason Hinkle, who I actually respect and like.
It's Jackson Hinkle. This is... Yo, Jackson, bro. Jackson Hinkle. Why is he saying we? Yeah, I don't know.
And some other people who I respect and like don't seem to understand that there is no point.
Yo, isn't that insane? People like Jackson Hinkle and so many other people on Twitter have the exact same take. And he's like, I respect it like them, but SNEAKO's a crybaby dumbass making artsy fartsy. I had the same opinion as everybody else who's anti-war. Other people, everyone else. I like Jason Hinkle. I like Jason Herklin. Whatever. There's like some sort of bias there. That's just funny seeing the double standard.
Supporting.
I'm not asking for his validation. It's just very obvious the difference. I don't give a fuck about his validation. It's just I wonder what it's about. Some people are saying jealousy. Some people are saying, but I just like the double standard is very clear. Like Jackson Hinkle was attacking him. I think it was like directly tweeting at him and saying everything. I'm just like, hey bro, you're on the wrong side of this. You should be anti-war. We're not pro-war. This is not resisting the slave mind. 10 IQ in advance, 10Q in advance for all that you're doing. I'm new to this, your space yet. Super chat. You asked how you can go about reaching you. Speak to you. Thanks again. Join the Discord at Twitter.com if you want to talk.
A regime which is infiltrated by traitors. If the regime itself is prepared to betray.
Watch what happens when you block
Jesus Christ, bro.
from your scalp. Day 1, nothing visible yet. Day 30, baby hairs appear.
Oh my
Trade
Lord.
for money.
What's funny about this too is that he's completely going with against what his brother said. Tristan Tate replied when Andrew was tweeting at me saying, "Oh, you don't know anything about the world." Just like, "Hey, don't reply to him. Don't reply to him. We're gonna do a millionaire party. I'm a man of my word. But SNEAKO is gonna do a bunch of content about this on his podcast." And Tate said, "Fuck it. I'm doing a whole show about SNEAKO. That snarky fuck." Bro, your brother told you not to do this, man. And it wasn't just a tweet. He did a whole fucking show. And Tristan's like, "Please don't. I'm a man of my word. He's gonna do a podcast."
Then what's the point in our support? They're done. If the Venezuelan generals are prepared to sell out the country, then let's fucking buy it. What are we supposed to do here? Venezuelans aren't protecting Venezuela because Venezuelans are taking bribes from the CIA to depose their own leader. So what the fuck sense does it make for us Westerners to say, yes, that's a good move for America, but no, we shouldn't do it, even though they're all a den of fucking vipers and treacherous snakes anyway? If they're going to act that way, we're going to exploit it because this is fucking America.
Okay, so you got rid of your moral argument, and now you're saying that they're all treacherous snakes. Okay, well then why don't you apply that logic with the Epstein files with the American government? You're aware what the Epstein operation was about. You're well aware that it had Mossad connection. You know that it was a blackmail honeypot operation to compromise the entire government, to get the elites and to get people of power in America to show undying allegiance to Israel. Undeniably. I think most Americans can accept that Epstein was working for Israel, was working for Mossad. The Mossad connection with Ghislaine Maxwell and Robert Maxwell, Ehud Barak visiting his estate in Manhattan. Come on. You think this guy was working alone? He was a billionaire from what? He was financed by Les Wexner. So you're going to say that they're treacherous snakes. Then all right, South American presidents are all treacherous because they don't listen to the central bank system that wants to tell them everything and how to operate and how to run their country. If they're treacherous snakes, then what does that make the United States government? What does that make the hidden Epstein files? Dan Bongino, like the biggest streamer on Rumble, he left Rumble as a podcaster to become the FBI director. His whole platform was talking about how Epstein didn't kill himself. Dan Bongino was the guy, Epstein. He didn't kill him, trying to expose it. Then he becomes the FBI director. Then we get the list, and it's all redacted, black lines everywhere. Then he leaves the FBI, and he comes back to podcasting. And now he seems like he forgot everything he said. He seems like he changed his entire mind about Epstein. Right in front of our faces. I slurp, thanks to the 10. Top cortisol just needs someone to pick on. I think he's grifting. You just called him top cortisol instead of top G.
And in the world we live in, everyone's trying to take everyone else's shit. People forget that. People forget we're trying to take each other's shit. Because if you live in the West, you live in a relatively peaceful area and place. So you think the world's not a constant, never-ending war.
At least we live here. You know, at least we're here speaking out against something that affects us and doesn't affect you.
You're sitting at home going, no, we don't live in a forever war. It's quite nice where I live. It's nice where you live for a few reasons. The first reason is that
this is just like, maybe I'm being redundant. He's saying, okay, we live in a forever war. That's obviously bad. That's obviously wrong. Why are you supporting it? That shouldn't happen. We shouldn't be in this state. How are you escaping the Matrix by supporting it exactly? The Matrix is that system that keeps us in a war forever. In an arms race, in a Cold War. Constant sanctions, proxy wars. This is what keeps the average person broke. That 70% of the budget goes to fund this and doesn't go towards the housing crisis or healthcare. This is why there's a matrix. This is why there are slaves. This is why people don't make it. And now you're saying it's good? Now you're excited about it? Now you want more of it? And go to Greenland, go to Colombia, go to Cuba, take it over at all. What was your whole platform about then?
War, which is required for your place to stay nice, has been moved offshore, and it's proxy, which is very convenient for you. America's very good at avoiding war on its shores because it makes sure there's war in other places. America now has oil, which makes it more powerful, which makes people less likely to invade it and fuck with it. and the violence happened somewhere else. So if you live in Germany or France or America.
No, you know what this does? U.S. invading Venezuela allows Israel to strike Iran. Because right now, what Iran could do, the threat that they have is the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has a lot of oil, and they provide a lot of oil to Europe. And so the reason so many people are against a war in Iran, because Israel is dying. They're dying to bomb Iran. They hate Iran. They want everybody to think they're terrorists. They want to strike. That's one of the last major strongholds that pose a threat towards Israel and their dominance in the Middle East. The last one is Iran. Syria, Libya, Iraq, all of it. They're all crumbled. All regime change all over. Now that the U.S. has access to more oil, it allows that strike to happen in Iran. And best believe in the next coming weeks or months, and come back to this when it happens, Israel is going to strike Iran. Now they can do it. Why do you think Netanyahu's just visiting Mar-a-Lago and Hegseth, the Secretary of War, showing pictures with Marco Rubio, the Secretary of War, Trump? He was at the New Year's party. He was telling them, do it. Get it done. Good boy. The opportunity is there. Israel can strike Iran now, because now they can supplement that oil loss.
Or England or Australia. You think violence isn't necessary because you don't see it. But our leaders are smart enough to offload the violence to other countries where it's all they see. So that's the first thing you have to understand. The second thing you have to understand is that there is no other way to enforce will but violence. I've heard a lot of people talking about international law. Gentlemen, law is pieces of paper printed off on a fucking computer. Law is nothing. I'm going to write a law here live on broadcast. It is called the Tate Law. And everyone in Romania has to give me $1. It is law. Type it up, print it out. Now, of course, no one's going to give me a fucking dollar, are they? So why is everyone ignoring my law, but we follow the other laws which are imposed upon us? Because the laws which are imposed upon us are backed by a threat of violence. Obey the law, or we send the police.
Okay, so then go to jail. Then go to jail and stop saying that the Matrix attacked you. Obey. Sit in the jail cell. They can control you. They were able to arrest you. They could do what they want. When you say might is right, when you submit to this, when you when you disregard any sense of morality, you realize that anything goes now. Now Israel's justified, and now so was your imprisonment. And now if they throw you in jail again, I don't want to hear a fucking peep. Man, I was a supportive one. I was that guy, man. You know how many hits? Do you know how many people criticized me for defending them when they were in jail? You remember that, Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate? How much I was speaking up, talking about how this was unfair? Because I don't believe that might is right. I believe right and wrong. Oh, SNEAKO's this moral police. He's a crybaby. He thinks he's Gandhi. I saw what happened. I saw that it was unfair. But now you're saying might is right. So you realize how stupid that makes everybody who defended you look? If they can throw you in a jail cell for whatever they want, you just got to say, yes, master. Yes, massa.
And the police have guns. Unless I'm going to go and stick up every fucking Romanian for my money to try and enforce my law. Nobody gives a shit what I say. So international law is just pieces of paper. And the pieces of paper have to be backed by the threat of violence. Who enforces international law? America. So America can do whatever the fuck it wants. Because it is the law. It's the sheriff in town.
Yeah, why does he understand that the question is whether or not they have the correct motives? What supersedes this really surface level argument that might is right and America's so strong they can do what they want? Do they have the best interest of the people? Because America, it's written that it's by the people and for the people. That's what it's all about. Is that what's happening right now? Is this by the people, for the people, or are they doing it for other reasons? Yes, they have the capability to put regime change in all the countries they want. They could bomb the third worlders that you're making fun of. But the reason that we have a voice and we have a podcast is not to big up the powers that be. They don't need it. It's to fight for what's right. Duh. That's why people supported Andrew Tate, because he was speaking up against the system. He was speaking up against the powers that be. That's why we have free speech. That's why we have democracy. Is so that we could figure out right from wrong, what's fair. the exchange of ideas. The fact that I need to spell this out is incredible. Like, how did we get to a point where podcasts and people speaking up are now just simping and caressing and, oh, yes, yeah, they're happy with slavery now? This is a Stockholm syndrome. I didn't expect to see this quickly.
Your opinion on it doesn't really matter. And the opinion of other countries doesn't really matter unless they're prepared to fight over it. And guess what? Nobody wants to fight America. So they are the fucking law. Law is bullshit. The whole premise that we're going to pass a bunch of laws and all these countries filled with full-grown men and guns and nuclear weapons, all who want the same shit, are going to join together in unison, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, standing around in the fucking United Nations building and have a long discussion about who gets what, and we're all going to be friends. If I put a pile of money in the middle of a room and got 1,000 strangers and said, let's work out who gets what, and one guy was bigger than the others, and another guy needed more than you because he was about to die of cancer, and if he didn't get more, he couldn't afford his chemo.
Am I insane, or did you guys see it, right? It's like the fact that he's missing it. Money is the root of all evil, right? Greed is the root of all evil. We know what money's based on. It's not based off of anything tangible right now. It's certain people that are control and are able to manipulate the entire world because they control currency. If money is the root of all evil, which everybody understands, then why would you continue to push and advocate for that system? Why would you support it? Am I saying something insane? Or because I notice a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of talking heads, a lot of people, the atmosphere is kind of strange right now. A lot of people are apprehensive to speak up because they're trying to figure out what other people are saying and where they should position themselves. Dude, you're an idealist, not a realist. This is the world. I understand that this is the world. The difference between me and Tate is that he is encouraging and advocating for an evil system. And I'm saying that, yeah, like, we're in control. We are slaves. But we should do our best to try to speak up and fight against it, or else why are you here? Do you want to be a slave, or do you want to try to break free of this system and fight for what's right? Isn't this what this is all about? I'm not trying to come off like a martyr or like someone, but that's what the point of speaking is. That's why we have podcasts. That's why we do this.
And some other girl was gorgeous, so she deserves, or believes she deserves, more than some fat ogre bitch. There'd be a big argument about who gets what. It wouldn't be an equal split. There'd be an argument. Eventually someone would say, well, I can beat the shit out of all of you, so why don't I just take all of it? I'm the only one with a fucking gun. How about I just take everything, because none of you have guns? The pretty bitch would be like, listen, you're a fucking fatso. You're going to eat donuts. You don't need it. Another guy will say, if we split it evenly, I die tomorrow. I need a little bit more for my chemo. Arguments would appear. How can we have international law without backing of violence? That would mean, in your idealistic scenario, a country...
And also, I just want to warn people of this mentality. Living with that mentality, like, let's look at it on a grander scale. Is there going to be world destruction, World War III? Probably, yeah. Yeah, there's going to be China, Russia, U.S., Israel. Yeah, eventually it's going to happen. There's not much we're just people. What can we do to stop it? But while we're here, you're supposed to do as much as you can. You're supposed to fight for what's right anyway. We have free will. Are you going to choose to promote evil or promote good? That's the difference. And that's what his whole platform was about. Good versus evil, right? The matrix, the system. It's incredible that I'm seeing him abandon or seem to forget about it that quickly. Like, yeah, there's going to be inevitably, yeah. Sure. The Antichrist, all this stuff, you can get biblical or talk about the end times. I'm not a religious scholar or anything. But you can see where this is going. Still, with the time that you have here, do what you can to do the right thing. Isn't it really that simple? We're all just sheep here. We're all goyim. But regardless, you wake up, and having a doomer mentality, giving up like that, it allows anything to go. By submitting to might is right, then yeah, you can take the gambling deal, huh? Doesn't matter. Everything's fucked anyway. Might as well take it. Why would you promote something good when everything's going to be fucked? I might as well promote gambling. I might as well start an OnlyFans agency. I might as well scam and steal and fuck over and rob and murder. Everything's fucked anyway. Why don't I just do whatever I want, go outside and rob a bank and hurt people? But you're not supposed to do that. This is obvious stuff.
A country like Venezuela, which is a shithole, can tell a country like America, which is the largest war machine in history, what to do. Hi, we're America. We're bigger and stronger than you. We want to do this. Hi, we're a bunch of Mexicans who eat tacos. No. What do you mean fucking no? If you go outside and tell the Bloods that you want their gang territory and you're alone by yourself with no gun, they're not going to say, it's the law. Better give it to him. They're going to say, what the fuck are you going to do about it? The world is force. And the world is people endlessly stealing other people's shit. And that's what you need to keep in mind. Now, the reason what America just did was fantastic for the American empire and also very important is as follows.
He's ignoring it. When you talk about the American empire, you can't also talk about the Israeli empire. He knows this. We know this. Some people will say you're obsessed about it, but it's obvious. It's not an obsession with Israel. It's just, it's clear what's going on. They subverted our government. They control us completely. We are pretty much a colony for Israel. Everything that America does, all of the foreign policy is intrinsically tied to Israel's. And they can do what they want to us. They can bomb the USS Liberty. They can hide information. They can put spies and espionage. They don't care about us. But we have to be their greatest ally while we benefit zero. We don't get anything from Israel. When we go to Iraq and deploy troops there, does Israel put in one troop there? No, they didn't put any. They say our greatest ally. They don't benefit us whatsoever. The American empire is the Israeli empire currently. That's not an obsession. That's factual. Look at recent history. Look at the government. Look at who they have allegiance to. Look who's financing them. Look who Trump's taking money from. He was just on stage. Mark Levin put his arm around him and he said, "You're the best Jewish president." And he says, "Yes, I am." Miriam Adelson gets on stage and says, "I'll give you another $100 million if you disobey the Constitution and run for a third term." And he's like, "Maybe I will. Maybe I will." And Netanyahu is making him push in the chair. It's clear who's in charge. PBD can say that Trump is the most alpha in the room. Who is Trump's boss? Who is his daddy? Are we all blind to this? Is it any other leader that's bitching Trump around the way Israel is? And not just Trump, almost everybody in charge. Almost the entire government. The small few, there's like what, Thomas Massey is one of the few. I thought Tulsi Gabbard was one of the good ones, and then she completely switched. In 2019, Tulsi Gabbard was saying that regime change in Venezuela is a terrible idea, and now she's in support. Like Thomas Massey is like one of the only ones in government right now that is not submitting. That's not a simp slave for Israel. Everyone else is. Tate's ignoring this fact for some reason, even though he knows and he's aware and he's called this out before. For him to turn a blind eye because of Venezuela because he's excited about Blackhawks is stupid.
Western governments play poker. Chess is played by the Russians. The Chinese play Go. So in chess, you can see what your opponent is trying to do. The question is, can you stop it? It's not
you're right. It's if you can't beat them, join the mentality.
Of trying to hide your intentions. It's a matter of building a board and position so strong that your intentions can be enforced upon your opponent. They cannot stop what you are doing. Everybody understands Putin's goals in Ukraine. He's told you what they are. He's been very honest with you. The Chinese and the Russians will tell you what they're going to do. And then you have to try and stop them. The Russians actually more than the Chinese. Go is more confusing than chess. The Chinese, you have to kind of work it out. But in the West, all of our politicians play poker, which is a very different game. And Western politicians lie. They lie to you.
Okay.
They lie to their allies.
Here we go.
And they lie to their enemies.
All right.
And the primary objective of the American empire is to endlessly bluff. They want to scare you into resigning. Because everybody knows, no matter how big your army is, you can't fight everybody. No matter how strong you are, you can't fight all the time. It gets exhausting. So the last thing America wants to do is fight. And if you don't want to bite, people have to fear your bark. And people only fear your bark if they saw the last guy who got bit. America's been getting its ass kicked for the last 20 years. We watched America lose in Afghanistan. We watched them lose in Iraq.
And when the Taliban smoked them.
Allah Akbar!
Taliban smoked them.
When I say lose, I mean endless money, loss of life, loss of public support, running away with our tail between our legs. We're supposed to be the fucking cool, badass, scary guys. And for a long time, American hard power has been mocked by Americans themselves. If you don't have hard power, you don't have soft power. Because if you don't have a bite, you don't have a bark. And America is barking all day, every day at everyone to get their shit. So the bark must be feared. And it can only be feared if you do something gangster, which is why what happened in Venezuela is extremely important for American soft power. It's going to prevent wars. Because now when America says something, people are afraid. If you think...
Also, imagine the amount of nations that are pissed off. If you think it's just fear, that's short-sighted. Imagine the amount of countries around the world that are like, that are going to grow animosity. Myron said it correctly. In the short term, you might see benefits, but long term, this is a catalyst. This is a domino effect. This is going to make a lot of people around the world hate us. And I could say us. I'm here. I'm in America right now. Maduro is locked up a couple blocks away from my house. I'm here. Dave Smith texted me. I think let's get this going. Send him a Zoom. We can return to this after. Let's talk to Dave Smith. That's actually a perfect time to segue to that. Turn this off. Yeah, I'm excited. This is because Dave Smith, I think he agrees with me overall. Thank you for the super chat. Remember when Tate was against the U.S. for how corrupt, powerful system can instantly jail him? Now he's preaching for it. LMAO, the same system he ran from is now the system he's preaching for. I know. Israel in the end will be a plausible deniability story. American corporate powers are aligned with BRICS. Trump is only a disorienter in chief. I need some evidence for that. Okay, let's send him the Zoom.
All these fucking Mexican taco eating shitholes and spoke to all of their leaders and said, hey, you see what we just did? Don't make us come get you. We need to know what side you're on. Maduro was talking big. He stole Trump's dance. Had to throw him in a Black Hawk. You're under arrest, bitch. Get in the fucking helicopter.
I mean, he's joking. He's joking around, but he also does believe this. It's like, yeah, Trump did kind of say in a press conference that he was annoyed that Maduro stole his dance.
Are you pro-America or not? And the leader of these countries, if they had half a brain, were like, oh yeah, we love America. Yeah, you want my oil? You want my diamonds? You want burritos, tortillas, Doritos? You name it. I'll load them up. Oh, you only want to pay a fraction of their actual value. I agree. Sure. And giving America whatever it wants. America doesn't need to send any more Black Hawks because now these niggers are shook. They couldn't do that before this hard power demonstration. And to prove myself right, I'll give it simple. When Trump won, we were talking about taking Greenland. And there was a little bit of hee-haw. The Europeans were a little bit scared. The Danish. The big tough Danish. Ooh. They were like, oh, don't take Greenland, please. We talked about it for about a week. But after we took Venezuela, after we took their president and our hard power was...
Again, for the people who just joined the stream, he keeps saying we. We took Venezuela. British guy in Romania. It's
restored. Now our soft power is far more scary. When Trump says, yeah, we're going to take Greenland, they are pissing their pants. Look at Twitter. Every single European leader is tweeting at Trump, begging him not to go take their shit. Please.
It's a dangerous mentality because he's really, this is what Dave Smith was describing completely.
Don't rob us, Trump.
He's getting so excited about warfare. It's like, yeah, it's he's taking like, okay, this is the masculine approach. War is cool because we can. Might is masculine and aggressive. I'm going to take the side of the masculine aggressor. But not because it's right, because it sounds cool and it's tough to.
Please don't steal our country from us. What the fuck are you going to do? Our bark is very scary because our bite is strong. And we've proven that. If we want Greenland, we're going to fucking take it. And you ain't going to do shit. And it's going to be good for the American empire, which is what Europe requires. And
I didn't think about that before, but Dave Smith brought up, that America's economy was developed in rejection of the empire that fucked over the rest of the world in order to self-benefit, that the American economy became so successful because of free market, because of a free society, not because of screwing over other people. And although there are some contradictions, because obviously the Native Americans, you know, they aren't too happy. Aside from that, aside from the fact that they did all, you know, kind of get wiped out by the founding fathers and, you know, plagues and sickness, the American society did thrive in rejection to the empire mentality. Let's create a free society. Let's not impose a monarchy. Let's not be fascist. We're going to leave the fascist restrictive regimes and allow people to be independent, allow people to create business. You know, we're going to become successful because people can come here and create and thrive.
Relies on to exist anyway. So it's just passing Greenland to a better administrator at this point, because the Danish are wasting it. At least America will put nukes there. Make the island cool again. What the fuck is there now?
It's cool for, like, he's really, Dave pointed it out. It's a very it's not masculine or right wing to think that nukes and bombs are cool. In fact, it's immaturity to disregard human life. The conservative position is being somebody that cares about other people. For some reason, something got caught in the air where people think that you're a libtard if you consider human life. And it's so hypocritical seeing this from Tate. The guy was saying free Palestine. It's like, it's not right wing and cool to just fuck over the whole world. In fact, it's conservative to do the right thing, regardless of what's easy to do, just because you have the firepower. In fact, that just makes you a bully. It's no different than the guy shoving somebody weaker into the locker room and giving him a noogie, giving him a swirly because he's a little dork. Yeah, are you stronger than the guy you're bullying? Sure. Is that the right thing to do? Absolutely not. It's childish.
Now, snow? Snowball fights? No, bro. We need nukes on Greenland. Why? Why the fuck not? Just so if you fuck with us, you get ice nuked. That's why. So hard power enforces your ability to exert soft power. America's called Denmark, threaten them. It's called all of South America, threaten them niggers. Call those Canadian bitches, threaten them.
All right. Did not know. Okay, we can... should we move on from this? Should we move on from this? Oh, man. I remember this timestamp when I have to get this video up on YouTube. Okay, where are we right now? It was 1:21. There, he said
them. America just pulled off some gangster shit. Now it's calling everyone like, you don't want to fuck with us, too tough. That is good for anybody who lives a Western way of life. That is good for us, whether you think it is right or wrong. Because once America loses power, the vacuum will be filled by Russia or China. And if you think Russia or China are going to be nicer to small shitholes like Venezuela than America is, you're a dummy. Because once China or Russia become as powerful as America is, they'll do even worse shit. We didn't kill Maduro. We put him in a fucking Black Hawk. He got a fun ride.
Bro, every time he says we, I laugh. I just...
craft carry.
So ridiculous.
Now he's all over the news, wearing different outfits and walking around and shit and saying, I can't believe how many rights we get in America. He gets to go sit with fucking Luigi, who just blasted a healthcare CEO. And they get to eat food and chill. And we get 17 trill. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So the reality of the world is endless violence, or the threat of violence. And the threat of violence prevents violence. In Africa, all these countries nearby are trying to take each other's shit. You know there's like 5 wars going on in Africa right now. I know you don't care because no one cares about black people. But it's happening right now. There's all these fucking breakaway groups in Sudan, Ethiopia, these places. They're on the border. Ethiopia is sponsoring some group, the RSF in Sudan, who are walking around murdering people. They're all trying to get hold of some fucking field of dirt because it has diamonds in it. Who fucking knows, bro? Endless war all the time. And the countries who are not at war are threatening each other with war. Get rid of this idea that the world is a peaceful place. No, your street is peaceful because...
Just because you're anti-war, it doesn't mean that you believe that the world is a peaceful place. Like, what a stupid argument. It's that we're encouraging it. And we're against that. Being against war does not mean you hold the position that everything is peaceful. And that it's like, he's like, oh, if you're anti-war, you're a kumbaya hippie.
Because we've put our wars in other places. The best thing Western countries have ever managed to do is outsource and place our wars elsewhere. If we want a war with Russia, we fight it in Ukraine.
Why is he so invested in our politics? I think because he thinks it's fun. Some people are saying he's an agent of chaos. He took a deal. He's this. He's paid off. I just think it's because he thinks it's fun to. It's like he sees it as a game. It's an us versus them. Kind of like a game of chess. It's interesting. He's got a powerful voice and that he can influence the power that's going on. It's like he's treating it like a sport. But it's not a game. It's human life at stake.
Or Korea, or Vietnam, or with China, same deal. If we want to fight the commies, we do it in some shithole. We don't do it in downtown LA. Unfortunately, they're there now, so we probably might have to. But that's how the world really works. Forget this bullshit about law, about right and wrong.
Listen to what he just said. I know maybe we're going in circle, but he just said, forget about what's right and wrong. What are you saying? What are you putting out into the world? Forget about right and wrong. This is how you're using your influence?
There is no right.
No,
and wrong.
No, there is, actually. There is right and wrong. This isn't a controversial statement, and it's incredible that this is even a talking point. There is right and wrong. You're not supposed to submit to the powers that be. He's viewing it from a man-made perspective, and this is a very atheist point of view. He's acting as if the people in power can dictate morality because they have more arm. No, God's real. He believes this. He talks about this. He talked about how God was the reason that he lost his fight because God was shielding him from something. In this last stream, he was just saying this.
Wrong. From a moral perspective, there is. But if you read a history book, the winners were always right somehow. Because once you win...
And that's wrong. And we know that the victors write the history books. Please have a Tate versus Dave debate. That would be great. They are both good at debating. I'll ask him. Maybe he's interested.
You get to decide the story. And when you decide the story, you don't write yourself as a bad guy. That is the truth of how the world actually functions. And it's the same all the way down to your level. You as a person need to understand you are at constant war with other people.
And again, it's just the fact that he doesn't see the irony about building your brand on the idea that we should resist the slave mind. Escape the matrix, resist the slave. So how? How do you resist the slave mind if you're saying there's no right and wrong because of the powers? What is the diagnosis now? What's the solution? Getting a bunch of Bugattis, making a bunch of money? You always talk about how I've heard his talking points over the years. He says, as a billionaire, I could be on a yacht fucking a bunch of models, but I choose to be fighting the fight because I do what's right. I could just fuck off and be on a yacht and sleep with a bunch of women and be a degenerate, but I'm doing my podcast to fight what's right and escape the matrix and resist the slave mind. You are echoing the slave mind. You have now become the matrix. Someone needs to put a flash like Men in Black on his face. If now nothing matters and there's no right and wrong, then you should just go on that yacht and do all the degenerate things that you were saying you could do. What's the point of you being on this podcast? Who are you? Are you trying to convince people to reject morality? Are you trying to convince people to just fall in line? Are you telling people to just let the powers that be do as they will? What is your perspective now? How is this escaping the matrix, Andrew Tate?
People. And people will exploit you if they believe you are exploitable.
Nothing masculine about the American empire witnessing acts of desperation for them to keep it alive. Venezuela, Greenland, it's just piracy to maintain power because it's going to collapse.
And they will bully you if they believe you can be bullied. So it is down to how much you can protect yourself, protect your psyche, protect your house, protect your women, protect your ideas. Otherwise, they will come for you. And there's always someone bigger and stronger. So that's the first thing you have to understand about the world. The second thing you need to understand about the world is that we live in a monumental stage show. Every single thing you are told is theater. It is a simulation. And nothing that you are being told about anything is true.
So what? So what about Venezuela? So what about what you're supporting right now? Regime change here. You just said everything you hear from the powers that be is a lie. So what the fuck about the thing that you're advocating for?
The main reason for this is because nobody gives a fuck what you think. What they want you to do is to comply and obey. So they will tell you whatever truth is most convenient for your compliance, not whatever truth actually happens to be true. Remember COVID?
How was this
They
different?
lied to you.
Trump was in charge during COVID, Andrew. What are you talking about? He was the president telling you to get the vaccine. He was the one that allowed Dr. Fauci to be in charge. He didn't do anything to stop COVID. So now you trust him when it comes to Venezuela? Who do you think was president? Who do you think said it was 2 weeks to stop the spread and then let the pandemic happen? Trump. Trump shilled the vaccine.
To make you do what they want. So we are living in a never-ending battle for influence, and the influence over minds is the primary concern of the stage show. If I'm going to tell lies, and that's all governments do.
So what the fuck are you talking about? All governments do is lie? So you're supporting liars? So you're in favor of people who are trying to enslave people? How do you...
I need to make sure people believe my lies. If they don't believe my lies, they're not effective. This is why the mainstream media even exists. Nobody pays for this. Nobody, if the mainstream media was a business, who's buying it? Do you buy the BBC? Do you buy CNN? Nobody pays for this. It is paid for by governments to brainwash you so that they can continue to fight wars and steal other people's shit for the betterment of the country.
So are you against this or are you for this? Or are you just saying, are you just yapping in a mic with your shirt off? What are you talking about? You just said what I'm saying. They are lying. They are telling you that these are coke dealers, that they're communists and they're evil and we need regime change. And that's a lie for power, for greed, for Israel. So then stop supporting it if you know it's wrong. Or do you think that lying is no longer wrong? What am I hearing right now?
Where this gets messy is when you start looking at countries as what they actually are, which is empirical spheres of influence, controlled by a few oligarchs, as opposed to land masses. So if I were to tell you the people in charge of America are making decisions that are good for America, you would say, then why are they importing all these foreigners and destroying the country? Because you think of the country as a land mass, and you think of the country as a society and a town. But the true leaders of the American empire don't view America that way. They see it as an empire, which they can extract resource from and exert control with. Japan and South Korea are America to these people. It's all about American influence and control. They don't give a fuck about the landmass. They want to control the population to listen to them. They want to psyop you with the stage show, and they want to steal as much money as possible, and they want to have as much power as possible, by any means necessary. They don't care about the lines on the map. They don't care about your quaint little town, which has just been filled with Bangladeshis. They don't give a fuck. They give a fuck about American influence. They care if they can go to Saudi Arabia and tell Aramco what to fucking do. That's America to them. It's not the town you live in. It is an empire. And the empire is global. And these people are on global express flights. They're on private planes. They may live in Switzerland. They may live in Dubai. But they're American imperialists. So that's why you're confused about decisions that are made which make your life worse on the ground in America, but they believe are better for the American empire as a whole. You are expendable. Your point of view and your thoughts and your feelings mean nothing. You are a nobody. You are a peasant and a pawn. You are an observer of a stage show that they write. And it is your job to believe everything you are told. That's it. Nothing about how the world truly functions has ever been taught to you.
But this is the problem with the red pill and why I said red pill is dead exactly. Because what transcends the red pill, you got to follow God. You got to have a sense of right and wrong. The red pill, it just talks about what's in the world. And if you follow that too far, you end up getting a vasectomy so that you could stay a high-value man and never impregnate a woman because the world is doomed and you shouldn't have children. And a high-value man is not going to be a simp to a girl that's going to baby trap him. The red pill is a path to atheism. The red pill is a path to nothing. Nothing matters anymore. Everything is fucked. You're all part of this system. It's all rigged against you. That's it. That's what the red pill will tell you. Everything is fucked. You can't do anything. You're a peasant. Fall in line. Give up. It's a negative mentality. Humanity can't survive with that. That's why I said red pill is dead. Obviously, a lot of the stuff is true. But if you make that your leading philosophy, your guiding philosophy in life, there's no point in even living. Based off what Tate's saying, if just fall in line, you might as well just end it all. You might as well what's the point of being alive? If you're just a slave and a cog in the machine, why are you even awake? Give up. You mean nothing. You're meaningless. You're a blip. You don't matter. The people in charge matter. They're the ones with the power and the control and the money. You're just some stupid idiot who's used to extract resources from. So just give up. That's what the red pill will tell you if you don't transcend. If you don't elevate past that. And that's why I say the red pill is dead. They say, oh, you're grifting or this. No, it's because these people don't provide any solution besides nothingness. If you want to follow them forever, then listen to The Godfather and get a vasectomy. I told you 3 years ago when I debated that leader, their Jesus, said the same thing. Can't follow you guys forever. There's no way out of this.
Let me make it very, very simple in case you're confused. Whenever you see something happen on the news and you're not sure why it's happening or the truth behind it happening, let me make it very simple. There are two distinct pools of money which are trying to get hold of more money. That's it. Why is Russia, Ukraine fighting? Because the Russian pools of money and the Western pools of money are trying to get hold of more money. What happens if Russia wins?
All right, I think we see his
My town's fucked. Who are all the lazy, the arrogant in communistic societies either end up in jail or manage to super yachts and go to the club, the yacht club, and light a fucking cigar. Me and the billionaires talk about how the world works. And they listen to me because I have a fucking yacht. So I reject all of those beliefs. I reject the things they tell me. And instead I'm going to get rich. And I'm going to be able to leave this theater and walk out into the open free air.
Get rich wide to do what?
Open fields and see the other free men. I'll buy a boat and end up in the yacht club somewhere in fucking Tunisia with Andrew Tate and some guy I've never heard of. The world is constant and forever war. And your only weapons to protect yourself, the people you care about and your bloodline, are influence. And influence costs money.
So, yeah. So the thesis is to get rich so that you have influence, but what do you do with that influence? Because I don't know, that just made no sense. Like the mental gymnastics there are crazy. That was insane. I don't know. Do you guys think I'm overreacting about this? I'm listening to this and the logical inconsistencies are crazy. SNEAKO, that's why I talk with Simon Dixon. That would be valuable. Thanks for the super chat. You ask first principles questions, and he brings evidence-based geopolitical analysis. I think that comment will be like, okay. Yeah. You say this every day. Yeah. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think? Do you see what I'm saying? Did that make any sense? Because it just seems, yeah, that just sounded like mega yacht, penthouse, coffee, cigarette. Like, what? Everything's fucked, so get a yacht. I have a yacht, and I'm rich, and I'm influential. I'm here to tell you that you're fucked. Get influence and money so you can tell people that they're fucked. Just...
I don't even know how much.
Fix the headphones.
I don't even know how much, but it's probably about 3 cream, 3 sugar. I like a lot of cream and a lot of sugar. I'm a baby. I like it. I'm not one of these. Just a black coffee for me. Just a black coffee and some bullets for me. Yeah. I watch Matt Walsh. Just a black coffee for me. No, none of that gay pussy shit like sugar and cream. Just a black coffee and some... Crush up some cigarettes in there, will you? Could you ash your cigarette in my black coffee and take a piss in it too? No frills over here. None of that sugar and cream. Like,
I'm just so... Buy a yacht and a boat. Get a boat. Everything's fucked. Might is right. Trump has missiles. We're going to take Greenland. And you mean nothing. So get rich so you can get influence because you're fucked. And the Matrix will control you. So fall in line and get on a boat with billionaires. And when you got a yacht and when you got a Bugatti, like me, you can escape and be on the boat. Because it's hopeless. Because nothing matters. We Americans here in Romania are here to tell you that you're fucked and it's hopeless. They all lie to you. The governments lie to you. And that's why I support Trump invading Venezuela. Fuck Venezuela. Trump is right because the governments lie. Presidents will lie to you. And that's why I support Donald Trump. He's on the boat and I've got a yacht. And on the yacht, I'm here to tell you that the governments will lie and it's a forever war. And everything they tell you is a lie. And Trump is right. What? You're fucked. The dollar's meaningless. The banks control you. So get rich and escape. Resist the slave mind and gamble your way out of it. Get a boat. I don't even know, man. I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
We have something in common, then.
The GIF, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, where he's like...
Yeah. What was your biggest change of mind in life?
My biggest change of mind?
Yeah, Patrick Bateman.
I mean, murders and executions definitely changed me. It's a tough industry to be in, but I think it's rewarding at the end of the day, and I can't get enough of it.
Patrick Bateman is kind of like the example of... That was a great vlog.
Even if you are ready for the day, it may not always be light.
That was a fun era, bro, in Toronto. Oh my God, I still got to... Aiden's still waiting on me to give him 150K.
The kick is no good! It is wide right! And the Steelers are the champions of the North!
You notice, like, so many of the videos that they're saying, look at how happy the Venezuelans are. It's like World Cup footage. It's like World Cup footage.
So what do our politicians think of this? What is their plan for this? Well, the problem is that they're too politically...
We continue to support Tsar Putin in the war effort. Can we get an 07 in chat? We want to just keep in mind, we want to keep our brave soldiers in the white, blue, and red in our prayers and in our thoughts as they continue to liberate Ukraine from the great Satan and from the evil empire in the world, which is the United States. So, of course, our thoughts and prayers, our hearts go out to you, the pride of the Tsar, the pride of Moscow. We continue to root for them as they liberate Ukraine.
I'm excited to see his comeback, man. I'm excited to see him come back from his break. In the coming months, the system will start backing down on a few woke issues due to concern about lack of participation of white men in the upcoming war. They know their diversity mutts are disloyal cowards and incapable of winning a war. They will first use their good goys like Joe Rogan and Musk to lay the groundwork for certain ideas to be allowed and pushed back on. They know white men are checked out of participation in society and conflict, and they know they've whipped white men too hard recently with a lot of the woke nonsense, so they will roll just enough woke nonsense in time in hopes of remoralizing the patriot white men to go fight in a global conflict. Oof. Important. They still want to genocide Western white men. Don't be fooled by certain concessions the system will try to make. They still very much hate you, but need you to fight their war.
It is also the duty of us, the people, to stand against the Trump regime, the Trump administration that are committing crimes both here in the U.S. and against people in Venezuela.
Now, in the background of this interview, you could see that police car. And now right here, we're showing you video we have immediately after the interview finished. Plicta was arrested by 2 Grand Rapids police officers. You can see it in the video, and an officer tells Plicta that she is being arrested.
Wow.
Yeah. But she gets it.
What the?
So Cuba's days are numbered. Colombia isn't going to be doing this anymore. Okay, yeah, I can see there's definitely a trend here. You specifically said you'd be against foreign intervention and nation building. Why have you switched positions? Well, I'm generally against it, but there are some instances.
No, Osmongold, no. Don't say. Did he make the Matt Walsh argument that you're anti-interventionist, except this one?
This is where I'd be okay with it. It's pretty simple. Like, I think it's something that's generally a bad idea, but if we can get enough money out of the place that we're intervening in, and we can effectively make it worthwhile for us, then I'd be okay with it. Does that make sense? So
you're against it unless there's enough money involved? No, man, nah. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. I think he'll come around.
It's all about whether we're making money off of it. That's my prime.
Basing it off of how much money you make is not the right argument, because we know you could just print more money, and they have for decades. We're $38 trillion in debt because they just keep on printing more money. They keep printing more and more and more and more and more, and they won't stop. It's not based off of anything. So to go and justify regime change and unnecessary war that he's admitting is wrong to make money, loss of human life is... Now you're putting money over humanity.
Primary function is that I think about, is this good for Americans? And if it is, if it's making us money, it's beneficial for us, it's lowering our costs, or there's some other downstream effect of it, then yeah, I'd be okay with it. But us just going over there and doing it for no reason.
So you're saying invade, kill, put regime change, start war, as long as it benefits Americans and only Americans. Now you're putting American life over, this is the same thing as Zionism. This is a Zionist point of view. It doesn't matter about other human life as long as we put America's interests first. The rest of the world is expendable. The rest of the world, they have resources that we want and to extract. Doesn't matter. We don't care. We'll kill, we'll kidnap, we'll bomb, as long as it benefits us. I think he can come around to this.
No, I don't think so. So yeah, and but that's really that's my viewpoint on it. That's what I think. No more pointless wars. Period. Economical, logical interventions are fine. Yeah, exactly. And even if it costs civilian lives, yeah, who gives a shit? Like, I mean, if the thing is,
man, no, bro. Even if it costs civilian lives, who gives a shit? One more, because I see people even they're saying, oh, look, are you even American? Yes, of course. The America First position is fixing the problems and the debt crisis, the healthcare problem, the issues that we have here before we go intervening in other countries. He just said, let me play it one more time.
And even if it costs civilian lives, yeah, who gives a shit?
This is greed. This is the problem. This is a bad mentality to hold. Who cares about he just said, who cares about civilian life as long as it benefits us, man? No, man. This is what Israelis think. And we've been pushing back on their ideology so much for the past almost 3 years. To now adopt it for ourselves, what direction is the world going to go into, especially if we can agree that this is the world's superpower? Osmongold, I like and respect you. I really hope you're able to see the flaws in this argument and holding this belief. Civilian life, it does matter, okay? Even if they're not American, lives do matter, right? It's not okay to, man.
Like, I mean, if the thing is that if you're going to do this stuff, people are going to get killed. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen for sure.
You know, one of my main issues with this is I keep like guys like Matt Walsh saying that this is okay. They're not the ones that are going to be deployed, they're not putting boots on the ground. They're not putting their own feet in other countries. They're not holding the machine gun. They're not putting on the helmet, and they're not risking their life. They say this from the comfort of their podcast studio. And this is what we criticize Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson. Give him hell, give him hell. It's like, dude, you're in a podcast studio advocating for war. Now I'm seeing so many conservative talking heads do the same exact thing for America. These people are extremely rich. They're multimillionaires from talking. They're not going to be risking their life. They're saying other Americans, go do the dirty work and go give us our money. Go kill other people for me. He's had a lot of W's. This is a rare disagreement. Overall, he's been doing very good.